Hey there, everybody. It's Kate Beaters. Oops. There we go. Alrighty. I'm getting better and better at this stuff. Okay. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Kate Beaters, and I'm excited to be here with you on this brand new training I've got for you on Facebook Live. And if you're here, when you're here, please say hello, do a like, do a heart, do something so I know who's there. Let me know where you're from, and I'll be checking on my iPhone to see who's here, and I'm really excited. We got some really cool stuff I want to share with you today. So, um, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be sharing this with you. I was like, wow, it's time for me to share this information. I wish I had, um, yeah. So I'm really excited, and it has to do a little bit with the Goldilocks principle, and I'll explain what that means. But in the meantime, like I said, please let me know who's here. Say hello, do a like, do something so I know who's there, because I want to share with you something that I hear all the time from my clients when they ask me, like, how can I, have a steady income and all that. And I want to share with you what to do, and it's part of the Goldilocks principle. So, um, yeah, so it's going to be really, really cool, the training I have for you. Excuse me. And I'm going to take a sip here of my tea. And for anybody just joining, we've got some really cool stuff I want to share with you, and yep, we're just hitting this thing. There we go. Facebook has all these different new options, which is really, really cool. It's like when you think you get to know it, they've got like, oh, there's a new button of something I can do, which is very, very cool. So anyways, like I said, I've got some really cool stuff. So please do me a favor, if you're here, do something, do a heart, so I know who's here, and I want to share this training with you. And I'm just going to get this all set. So I can just see if people are commenting. Oops. Let's see. Give me one sec here. You'd always think this would be easier than it should be. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Okay, so anyways, I wanted to share with you probably one of the biggest questions I get from the clients I work with, or people I meet when I'm out at networking events, when I'm traveling to different events, when I am speaking around the country. One of the biggest things I hear from people is they want to know how they can have a more consistent, steady income, right? As an entrepreneur, because so many of us, we came out of the business world where we got our paycheck, whether it was every Friday or twice a month or bi-monthly or whatever the heck it was. You used to get steady income. As an entrepreneur, it's very, very different. And so if you guys agree, if anyone who's listening came out of corporate with that kind of paycheck type of mentality, please click like or put a comment so I know who's there. And let's see, I just want to get this thing all set. Oop, there we go. Sorry. I just want to get this all set so I can see comments. Okay. So anyways, I wanted to share something with you. I was actually getting my nails done yesterday, and bear with me, this story will have something to do it. You can see my pretty new color that I have, something kind of for spring, because today's the first day of spring. And what happened, which was really, really interesting, is that there was one of the women who worked at the salon, one of the manicurists, getting there for my mani-pedi, and she had her little boy there, and I guess she couldn't find a babysitter or whatever. And a cute little boy, probably about 4 years old, just cute as a button. I mean, you just wanted to like squeeze him and take him home, right? Just really cute. So what he was doing is he had 3 cups. They all kind of looked a little bit like this, a little bit bigger. And he was playing a game with one of the clients. And what he did was he had 3 identical cups, and he had a piece of paper. He kind of just like squished up, and he put it under one of the cups. And he had this woman guess which cup was holding this little piece of paper, right? And it was a game, and he would laugh and laugh, and he entertained all of us for however long we were there. He just entertained us. He was a cute little boy, and he kept playing, and one time be under the one on the left or the middle or the right and all that kind of stuff. And it was guessing to see which of those 3 would be the right one, which would hold the prize. So that reminded me that it was time to teach all of you what I call the Goldilocks principle. And I'm guessing you haven't heard of it because it's something I kind of created. So unless you've been coaching with me for a while, it's got to be brand new. And again, if you're just joining, please click like or do a heart or do something. Let me know who's there. And obviously, please share this with your community. So what I want to tell you about is Goldilocks. We all know the story. And it's the story of the little girl who wanders in the woods, and she ends up in this little cabin, and she sees 3 chairs. She's trying to get comfortable, and everywhere throughout the whole house is 3 of everything, for the papa bear, the mama bear, and the baby bear, right? And so there were 3 bowls, there were 3 sets of silverware, there were 3 chairs, for the mama bear, baby bear, and papa bear, right? And she'd try each one out. And the same thing, she finally at the end found the 3 beds, the papa bear, the mama bear, and the baby bear. And she tried, and as she went through the whole house, everything she was doing is like, one thing she'd say like, this is too big, and otherwise like this didn't feel right, and the third was like, it's just right. And so that's what she would kind of go through as she went through the house. And finally, up in the bedroom, she found the bed that just felt just right to her. We all know the story, and she fell asleep, okay? So again, 1 out of 3. So in sales conversations, what is considered a very good close rate is 1 out of 3. So you might want to write that down, 1 out of 3. Now, when you first start out in business, your close rate is not going to be like that. It could be 1 out of 7. It could be 1 out of 10. It could be 1 out of 15. But understand that the better you get it, the more training you have, the more you understand what's going on behind it, the more you understand yourself about sales conversations, the better your close rate will get. So ideally, perfect world, you want to be 1 out of 3. Again, back to Goldilocks and back to the cups that I was just explaining. So when you think about it, and I'm just going to see who's, again, if you're just joining, please do a like or a heart or something so I know who's here. And so what I want you to think about is in sales conversations, 1 out of 3 is actually perfect. So let me explain what that means, is that ideally what's going to happen as you're doing sales conversations is one person is going to, that you're going to have a conversation with, you're going to go, you know what, this person, just isn't right. Maybe they're not the right person for me. Maybe they're expecting magic and you don't do magic. It'd be like if someone came to me and they like wanted me to help them increase their click rate on Facebook ads. Well, that's not my expertise, right? So that would not be somebody I'd want to work with. So 1 out of those 3 people is just not going to be right for you, okay? And for whatever reason, again, maybe you recognize like I can't help this person. Maybe it's somebody that you don't think will follow you, kind of how your process, and maybe you think it's somebody who will kind of cross your boundaries. Maybe it's somebody who's got a totally different point of view. For me, it might be somebody who, let's say, doesn't believe in mindset, or not that I don't expect them to be an expert in mindset, but if they were totally rigid, like no, that doesn't mean anything. Or the same, on the other side, somebody who never wanted to take action. That wouldn't be a really great client for me either, because they would just be sitting around moping the whole time. So 1 out of the 3 people you will talk to when you're at this close rate is not going to be your person. You're just going to sense it. Maybe you actually hear it from something they said. Maybe you kind of feel it in your gut. So that's why you always want to pay attention to what your body's doing. Maybe as you're talking, you're like, oh my God, I can't get a word in edgewise with this person. We've all spoke to people like that they just won't, they just talk and talk and talk. And you're wondering, how can I ever help them if they never listen? So that's 1 out of 3. So is that making sense to everybody so far? And again, if you're just joining, please do a like or let me know who's here, say hello. And so the second one, 2 out of 3, is going to be the person that they self-select themselves out from you, and they decide that they don't want to work with you. It could be, again, it could be for all those reasons that that I just said. It could be that very different style, that maybe they go like, no, I really want someone who's going to help me increase my click rate on Facebook ads, so Kate, you're not the one. It could be somebody that they feel that maybe you're doing all the talking and they can't get a word in edgewise. So again, the flip of how one would be. It could be all different things like that. It could be somebody who decides, maybe you do big groups, that's how you work with people, or maybe you do online and they rather have one-on-one, or it could be flipped that they don't want one-on-one and they want big groups, and that's not what you don't have. So they kind of self-select out. So again, 2 out of 3 now are gone. So the third one, which is just right, is the person that you both kind of just click. And you both realize that, hey, this is a really great connection, because you're realizing from what the person is sharing that you have probably helped people in the past who have similar type of situation or similar type of blocks. What they're looking for, the goals that they want to achieve, are reasonable. It's like if someone came to me today and said, Kate, I want to be a multimillionaire tomorrow. That's not reasonable. That's not something that is a reasonable request for me. So that would not be the right person. But if someone was saying, gee, Kate, I want to set up a plan to hit 6 figures in the next 12 to 18 months, well, I've helped clients do that. So that would not be, it'd be like, okay, are you ready to work? Are you ready to do the work? And if they said, yep, then it's like, okay, let's rock on. So, the third person is when you just feel like it's a really, really great connection, that you are aligned with them, they are aligned with you. It's not one of these where you feel like you have to kind of pretend to be something that you're not. So again, that leaves the 1 out of 3. So I would love to hear some comments or suggestion or questions or thoughts on how this, how this is resonating with you. So let me know if you have any questions about this, because this is really, really important to understand the Goldilocks principle. So I want to just take that step first and let you just kind of absorb that for a moment. And let me just see if there's any questions on this so far, because that's just part of the Goldilocks principle. So I just want to see what's going on. I'm just checking to see here. Now, in the meantime, while you're just absorbing all that, I want to just again invite you, if you haven't heard yet about Effortless Enrollment Secrets. It's my webinar. I'm actually holding a live training call tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And I'm going to be teaching you what I say during sales conversations that makes people say, yes, I'm excited to work with you, or I can't wait to work with you, or I'm nervous, but I know this is the right thing for me to do, type of thing. And I'm going to be teaching you what I say. It's brought me in hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, and I want to share that with you. It's free training, but you do need to register. So let me actually give you that. There you go. There's the URL, so you can see it. And it's called Effortless. Oops, I'm going to take this one down. Let's see. That's called effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. Okay. Oops, I'm going to move a little bit over here. That we go. So it's effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com to register. And when you do register, you're also going to get this handy 25 do's and don'ts. And this is what I created for sales conversations. I compiled my 6+ years of sales as an entrepreneur. I learned that sales is very, very different as an entrepreneur than when I worked for corporate and used to sell multi-million-dollar deals every year, lots of them. So what I did with some of these things here are things that it's like they work perfectly, and other things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. So those are under the don'ts. They could also be things that my clients did, and I'm like, oh gee, I wish you would ask me, type of things. So this is really kind of a crib sheet that it took me a lot of time to compile this, but I know it's going to make the process so much easier for you. And what you can see that I did is I actually got mine laminated. I took it to Staples, and for those of you who are outside the United States, Staples is a copy shop and a office supply store, and I got mine laminated because I was like, this is too cool, and I thought it came out great, and so I just wanted to have it so when I'm doing a sales conversation, this information is always handy for me. So again, when you go to effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com, you will be able to go ahead and register and download this. Okay, so you got that. So that was part one. So I'm just going to kind of reiterate what happened there. Let's see. Okay, so let me just reiterate that. Okay, so for anybody joining late, is that ultimately what your goal is to have a 1 out of 3 close rate. And that's because the first person or one of the people you talk to, that you will decide that they are not right for you, that it's just not the right person, it's not the right, either that what they want is not something that you offer. I use the example like someone could want Facebook clicks, or maybe they want to know how to, lose weight or whatever. Well, that's not what I teach. So one of the people is just, one of the people of those 3 is not going to be the right people for you, because those are not the results that you accomplish, that are your expertise. So that rules out one of the 3. The second of the third is somebody that they pre-select themselves out of it because maybe they don't like your style, maybe they don't like your delivery process. Could be all different reasons, but they self-select out, saying that this is just not the right fit for them, and that's okay, right? Because not everyone is going to say, Kate, you're amazing, or Susie, you're amazing, or Joe, you're amazing, or whatever. The third is the one that you guys just kind of come together, and it's like a love fest, and they're excited to work with you, and you're excited to work with them because you know that this is your gift, your expertise. You've helped people with in the past. You understand where they're coming from, and it just seems very, very aligned on both sides. And they either say, yay, I can't wait to work with you, or maybe they say, I'm super, super scared, but I know it's the right thing. It's that type of feeling, okay? So again, that's where the Goldilocks theory comes out of, is that Goldilocks tried 3, everywhere in the house, in that little house in the woods. She tried 3 chairs. She tried 3 sets of silverware place settings. She tried 3 bowls. She tried 3 glasses. You know, and she ended up with 3 beds, and then finally found the one that was just right. So what you want to be doing is heading towards a conversion rate of 1 out of 3. And the way you get there when you first start, it might be 1 out of 10, it might be 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20. It doesn't matter, because you got to start somewhere. Just like when you first started, you know, to learn to walk, you probably fell more than you stood up straight. But if you quit the first time you fell, you'd never be standing up today. So that's why every step is so important, step after step after step that you take. So let me just see if there's any questions, because this is really, really important. Because once you can do this, it's going to bring you in, and you constantly are doing sales conversations, it's going to bring you in a continuous flow of income. Because can you imagine that if you did 3 conversations every week, and one of those people says yes, what's that worth to you, right? I mean, is that worth a couple $100? Is that worth $1,000, $5,000, $10,000? You know, what the heck is it worth to you? So if you can get on this steady stream of always having conversations with clients, conversations to clients, then imagine what is going to happen. Imagine how your income is going to be back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the call, almost like a consistent income. And then, of course, it'll get higher and higher, you know, when you do your if you're doing launches or speaking gigs or sponsoring or whatever. But at least that will bring you that consistent income flow. So let's see, are there any questions from anybody about this? Because this was really, really powerful content I just shared. And would love to hear if you've got any thoughts or questions about this. And I'll give it a second. I know whenever I get emails from my clients who are nervous about their income, I just always remind them to get back into this, get back into steady calls. Because again, you do if you do 3 calls every week, one person, whether it's you're making $100, $500, $1,000, it doesn't matter. That's consistent steady income that comes in. And if you do more than 3, then that's double, right? If you did 6, then you got double that income. So who has any questions or comments about any of this? Because this is pretty important to know. And one thing, in case you haven't realized, is that this is actually a way of doing it without doing all sorts of crazy technology and all this kind of stuff, that it's actually very, very simple to implement. You create systems and you do this, and you do this on a regular basis, and watch how your income grows. Watch how your savings grow. Watch how your profitability grows. So I'd love to see if there are any questions, or if anyone, I see new people joining us, so please click like or do a heart or something. Tell me who's here. If you have any questions or thoughts about this, would love to share and answer for you. And while you're thinking about your questions, again, I want to invite you to Effortless Enrollment Secrets, my webinar I'm doing tomorrow, where I am teaching you what I say during sales conversations that's worked very successfully for me. It's what I teach the hundreds and hundreds of clients I've worked with privately. And I am sharing that tomorrow on a free webinar, but you do need to register. It's effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com, and that way you'll get all the information, you'll get your seat. I do like to do this in a smaller group, so make sure you if you do register, show up early to grab your seat before all the spots are gone. And once you do register, you'll also be able to download your 25 do's and don'ts for sales conversations. It's something I've put together, and it's got all the things I've done really, really well and taught other entrepreneurs to do really well. I will share with you that, having come out of corporate and selling for somebody else, that so many of the things that were do's in corporate are don'ts as an entrepreneur. And so I took a list of all those, hard look at those things. I also looked to see what I was doing that totally bombed and didn't work well, what my clients were doing that didn't work well, and spent a lot of time putting this together for you. So you can go ahead, download it when you register, and you'll notice I even got mine laminated, because I was like, this is pretty cool and impressive, and I want it to use for me. As I want the constant reminder of what to do and not to do during sales conversations. It's too big a part of my business. So who's got questions about the Goldilocks principle? If anyone has any questions about that, or sales conversations in general, I'm happy to answer and help you. And if you're here, please click like or share with your community. That would be awesome. Let's get the word out, because I believe this is so, so critical. I believe this is where every business should be starting. I think all the other stuff is great, but I think if you don't start with a strong foundation and know how to sell yourself, your services, and your products, your business is just not going to bring in the income you want. And I don't care whether you're an introvert or extrovert, you know, I've taught everybody how to do this in a way that feels good, that feels authentic, and brings them in the cashola, which is what they want, right? Because then they get to go on vacations, do more for their families, have money in the bank, and come from a place of empowerment. It's all good. So let's see if there are any questions. I'm happy to answer them for you on the Goldilocks principle. See if there are any questions. I think it's pretty cool. And I like to share things that are pretty cool because I think it'll help you. There's so many entrepreneurs that I see at networking events and all sorts of events that just their businesses are sinking. And I don't want that to happen to you. I believe it's really, really important to understand what makes a business tick and how to make income. So ultimately you can be, do, and have more and live a life that you really, really want. That's the point of this, right? The point of this is not to be a starving entrepreneur. So let's see if there are any questions at all about this. Take a last look. So please go ahead and register for effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. I'd love to see you on tomorrow's call. I will tell you the training I'm teaching you tomorrow. Typically most entrepreneurs who teach this sell this for thousands of dollars, and I'm giving it to you for free. And I know they spend that much because I've taken many of these courses and spent that much, and I'm teaching it to you tomorrow because I believe it's so critical for you to know. And so whether you are, quote, a naturally born salesperson and now as an entrepreneur you find it very different, which is what my experience was, or you're somebody who's just, the thought of sales just makes you super uncomfortable, I get that. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, how to kind of get around that so you still feel authentic and you don't feel sleazy or slimy. And also whether you're an introvert or extrovert, that stuff doesn't matter. I'm going to teach you kind of how to bypass that and really be able to show up in your full brilliance and magnetize. There's my handy dandy magnet. Magnetize all the right people to you. So I will see you on tomorrow's training. I'm just double checking. I don't see any questions here right now. And thank you for joining me. And like I said, tomorrow's training is going to rock it. And I can't wait for you all to be there and share more information about sales conversations and how to really get in the swing of things, how to start getting more yeses and feel comfortable while you're doing that. So if there are any other questions for anybody about the Goldilocks principle before I go? Just a quick look. Just see, this is so critical, you guys. It's the next best thing to having a solid paycheck coming in, you know, whether it's the every Friday or every other Friday or bi-monthly, whatever, that when you can do this, when you can put the Goldilocks principle into effect, you'll start seeing regular income come in. I kid you not. It's worked for me, it's worked for my clients. And it's not brain surgery. It's just learning how to do it and implementing the strategy. So if there are any questions, I just want to take a quick peek before I go. Are there any questions at all about this? Because I'd love to have you all master sales this year. Can you imagine the power of what would happen in 2017 if every entrepreneur could just master sales conversations? Man, the world would be on fire, don't you think? So I don't see any questions. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody, and I will see you tomorrow on effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. Remember to register, and remember to show up early because seating is limited. Okay? Bye, everybody. Have a great night.